Well, hi there, everyone, and welcome to the VIP Trade Room with Roger Scott and Matt Horton. Now, today is Wednesday, February 11th, and my name is Raleigh White, and I'm coming to you live from a beautiful sunny day here in Austin, Texas, and I'm going to be your moderator today. Now, in today's session, Roger is going to be covering a range of important topics with a focus on how he uses the Pro Trader dashboard to find trades every day. Now, he's going to start by giving us a midday market analysis and an update on the stocks that he's currently watching. And then he's going to pivot. He's going to share with us how he uses the Pro Trader dashboard to find scalps, day trades, and swing trades. And then he's going to share the different options he uses depending on the trade type, whether it's a scalp or a day trade or a swing trade. He's then going to go ahead and introduce us all to the new oscillator and the high volume candles that have been recently added to the Pro Trader dashboard and how he likes to use the Heikin candles for day trading opportunities. And as a bonus, folks, we're going to use the Pro Trader dashboard to find live markets during today's session. So we've got a bunch on tap, and this is going to be a great session. Now, if you've got questions during Roger's presentation, please type them in the chat window and we'll address them periodically throughout the session so as to not interfere with Roger's presentation. And remember, folks, that I've opened the chat room to everyone and we do have some ground rules. When you post, please be kind and supportive. Number two, always keep to the topic. Number three, no political discussions whatsoever. And please keep those side conversations between one or two individuals to a bare minimum, because all it does, folks, is it interferes with the rest of us that are trying to focus on the information and the education that Roger is sharing. Because after all, he's here to give us an edge in the markets and to help us become much more confident and consistent in our trading activities. Now, for those of you that joined us this morning at 8 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time for Roger's pre-market briefing, and I certainly hope you were all there, will note that there were several catalysts that we needed to be aware of today. On the communication and the tech front, we noted that T-Mobile and Shopify and GFS were all scheduled to release their earnings before market open. On the consumer front, we had McDonald's and Hilton and Kraft were all getting ready to release their earnings before market open. On the finance front, we noted that Hood was down 7% coming into the open. And on the industrial front, we had MLB and WAB releasing earnings before market open. And then on the healthcare front, we noticed that Moderna was down 10% and Humana was getting ready to release their earnings before market open. On the Fed front, we had the employment data coming out, which was delayed from last Friday. Then we had crude oil information that was coming out today. We have a 10-year bond auction, and we also have three FOMC speakers that are scheduled to speak today. So, if we're looking at basically trading stocks that are involved in any of these sectors, these are volatility flashpoints. And it would be good to know exactly what's happening in these sectors and how the market's responding before potentially placing any trades in those areas. Now, as far as Rogers pre-market large cap stock watch list is concerned, we'll note today that he gave us 21 tickers that are on his pre-market watch list. There were 7 shorts and there were 14 longs. You'll notice on ED here, I put an asterisk here because Roger noted that this was setting up to be a nice A-line trade. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar with Roger's watch list, these are legitimate tickers that Roger's got his eyes on because they have the potential, folks, to be trades that he might take. These are not automatic trades from his perspective, but they are setting up. And if any of these tickers to the short side or the long side meet his requirements, his specifications, what he's looking for, more than likely he's going to take those trades and he'll share them in the trading pit and the other premium alert services that he supports. So once again, there were 21 tickers on his pre-market watch list, and I'm looking forward to what his midday update is. Now, as far as Rogers' pre-market thoughts were concerned, folks, the futures markets were modestly up coming into the open when we joined them at 8 o'clock. We noted that the put to call ratio was balanced and slightly favoring puts, and the VIX was still hovering there below the 18 level. As far as momentum was concerned, we were up on the 20-day. What that means is there were significantly more stocks making 20-day highs than there were lows. So once again, we've got some momentum, but we also noted that the sector rotation continues to favor defensive stocks, with the speculative stocks that typically move the markets much lower in the listings. As far as the bonds were concerned, they were up nicely. They gained about 1% yesterday, and they were holding that position overnight. The SPY, the QQQ, and the MAGs were still there idling and consolidating its support. Not quite sure what they're going to be doing, but Roger really liked the fact that SMH, the chips, were moving higher, and he really liked seeing that. Now, from that perspective, generally speaking, he said, you know what, folks, I really kind of like what I see here. The good job numbers that came out, once again, gave the markets a nice little bounce. And he said, remember, though, folks, please be reasonable. His recommendation, wait for the first 30 minutes of the trading session to die down because there's bound to be some volatility, some false flags, and the potential to really mess with you if you're looking to took some trades in the first 30 minutes. That fear of missing out, just, don't even don't do anything for the first 30 minutes and then patiently look for setups that might occur. So I'm very interested in what Roger's going to share with us because, once again, he's put together a terrific agenda for us today. As I mentioned earlier, he's going to be covering a number of important topics, with a specific focus on the Pro Trader dashboard and how he finds trades every day with them. But he's going to open with a midday market analysis and his updated stock watch list. And then he's going to pivot to show us how using the Pro Trader dashboard helps him find scalps, day trades, and swing trades. Then he's going to share us the different option he uses depending on the trade type. So whether it's a scalp, a day trade, or a swing trade will have an impact on the type of option that he likes to select. He's then going to introduce the new oscillator and the high volume candles. These are recent updates to the Pro Trader dashboard. So he's going to talk about them, what they mean, and how he uses them. And then he's going to share how you can use the Heikin-Ashi candles to help you with your day trading opportunities. And then, folks, as a bonus round, he's going to show us live and in real time how he uses the Pro Trader dashboard to find live trades. So if you've got any questions during Roger's presentation, please type them in the chat window, and we're going to address them periodically throughout the session so as to not interfere with Roger's presentation. And remember, folks, we have opened the chat window to everyone, and we do have some ground rules. Always be kind and supportive in your posts. Please keep to the topic. No political discussions whatsoever. And also, folks, keep your side conversations between one or two of you to a bare minimum because this is not a community chat room, okay? This is a place where we're all coming to learn and to listen to the information that Roger's going to be sharing with us because he's here to give us an edge in the market and to help us all become much more confident and consistent in our trading. And with that, folks, hey, let's say hi to the team. Let's say good morning to Matt. Let's say hi to Roger. Roger, good to see you, my friend.
Good to
I,
see you too.
you sound, I was with you this morning and you sound like you're on the mend. Whatever you had is probably still there lurking in the background. But if you're a
Yeah.
12-cylinder machine, you're probably on 10 cylinders. That would be my bet.
Yeah, I'm not really feeling that bad anymore. I'm pretty springy. My throat doesn't hurt anymore. I feel great there. It all went up to my nose. So I
There you
sound
go.
like I sound like I can't breathe, but it is what it is. I don't let these things really bother me too much. Um,
There you go. That's the way we treat it. We don't have time for this after all. It's like go away. Um, so interesting this morning, Roger, coming into the open, we had the jobs numbers come out and they were surprisingly good and the markets reacted. And then the opened, and I mean, I'm looking at my charts right now, the SPY and the QQQ, they just fell off the table. And
yeah.
interestingly enough, the bonds were moving in the other direction. So I'm sitting there going, you know what? I'm going to be very interested to hear what Roger has to say about that.
It honestly, it's earnings. That's all this is. It's just earnings. It's reaction to earnings and the employment report. The problem is right now we're in a real pickle right now because and I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I'm not trusting this data at all. They just revised. They just revised the 2025 employment numbers,
Yeah.
and they're not looking good at all. So I think they're going to be revising. I think they're going to be revising. I think they're going to be revising these numbers um, as well. And I think these numbers are going to be revised a lot lower. Now, again, I can't, I'm not a big conspiracy theorist and I trade what's in front of me, but you asked me a question about why. So I'm just kind of
Right.
giving you
Yeah.
but I think things are just all over the place. First of all, the stock market fell off the cliff 15 minutes after it opened. Okay. So here, let me just share my screen with you here.
Yeah.
If you look at the stock market here, let me just pull this down here. If you look at the stock market, we gapped up. The highest point of the day was the opening bar, and then we literally fell off the cliff.
Yep.
Okay. So to me, it looked to me like this morning some institutions wanted to prop the market up, take a little profit, and they did that, and then we followed the bond market. Now the bond market is kind of bouncing back, but I mean, here, let me pull it up. The bond market is bouncing back, but the bond market kind of gapped down at the
Hmm.
open today, and then it started coming up. And the bond market is very choppy. It's the most choppiest market there is, for obvious reasons, because bonds are so efficient. But the stock market, remember the bond market and the stock market don't do things together. So when you take into account the fact that these numbers are delayed and they may not be meaningful, the fact that the bond market's coming down and the bond market's on a daily basis here. Let me on a daily basis, the bond market is not in a great place. We're still below major areas here. So this consolidation right here, this has to really have legs. We got to get above here. Till we get above here, I'm not buying this at all, at all. But if they let's just say employment is not getting worse, unemployment is not getting worse. Forget getting better, but let's say it's not getting worse, then there's absolutely no reason for the Fed to accommodate us with lower rates,
Right.
right? So as of right now, I'm not going to say that employment's getting better. I'm just going to say that employment is at a standstill. There's a question mark.
Hmm.
But I want to see what the bond market does. I want to see the bond market up here. If the bond market comes here above the 100 and builds a base here, this is not a base. This is just a gap. This can just keep going down and fill this gap by the end of today. This doesn't mean anything.
Hmm.
I'm not even going to look at this till the end of the day. But once we get up here, once we get above here, we're going to start feeling a little more sprucey about interest rates. But we are seeing some relief. I mean, this is a pretty good move right here in the bond
Sure.
market. But
Absolutely.
again, as far as stocks, remember what I told you guys. There's a huge amount of resistance
Yeah.
near the 696. I've been saying it since day one. I drew this line for you. I told you this morning, and look at what happened. We came up here. This is a backhanded slap. Okay, this isn't just a slap. That's a backhanded slap. That's a slap that'll hurt you for several days. Okay, that's the S&P getting really slapped. This right here is right there where I drew this 696 for you.
Right.
And this is the reason why I said it's going to be tough to get through here is because of this, including a high volume candle right above the current area right now. So, folks, I'm telling you, you do this for 32 years, you'll start seeing this stuff like an X-ray machine. You go into this and it can't break this. The odds are we're going to consolidate here for the next few days. You got the 8 day right here. We're going to consolidate and we're going to try to break this, but we're going to try to break it slowly,
Hmm.
kind of like no, this isn't very slowly, like this, kind of a movement. I think we're going to maybe even come off a little bit, but I think we're going to be stuck here for a few days till we see what happens. And we still have the regular employment report tomorrow. That'll be very, very interesting. Also, there's something else I said this morning, and I don't know if people heard me or not, because people have very selective hearing when I speak in the morning. Sometimes they only hear what they want to hear. But one of the things that I said this morning was when I was looking at my longs and shorts, I found a hell of a lot of tech stocks that are really breaking down. And I hardly had any tech stocks on my long watch list today. So I said to you guys, it's not easy to find stocks right now. There's a lot of stocks. And I said, even though momentum levels to the downside are not that great, I had no problem finding stocks to the downside. So, and here, let me show you what, you know what? It's one thing talking about it. Let me just show you. So here's my 90-day low. Okay, watch this. So you could see what I'm talking about. Okay, look, Amazon, Unity, Lyft, Path, Hims, Mattel, ServiceNow, beautiful A line right there, Uber, Upstart. Do you see what I'm saying? There,
Hmm.
nothing changed from this morning. CRM, Zillow, like name Pinterest, Humana, another low. Team, Upwork. I mean, this is what it looked like this morning, and that's what I was saying. Here's what I said. I said, see 90-day low. We were here. We were up here. Just to remind you. So let me press this button. We were right here. Okay, we had 65, and I said we have good momentum to the upside. We were at about here. We were at about 324, and we were at 65 to the downside. And I said, even though we don't have any momentum to the downside, I had no problem finding stocks. Um, I had no problem finding stocks to the downside. It was very easy actually, and I'm showing you exactly here. You can here. Let me go back. This is what it looked like this morning. Okay, this is literally what it looked like this morning. This is why I used this so you could see what I'm looking at. Amazon's breaking down. Google's breaking down. Uber's breaking down. This is literally what I was looking at this morning. NDAG breaking down. Monday breaking down. FIS breaking down.
Hmm.
Adobe breaking down. Workday break. This is all on my morning chart. So I made a comment. I said, even though I'm not seeing a lot of stocks on, you could listen to the tape. You can actually go back and listen to the tape. I said, there's only 65 stocks on the short list. But at the same time, when I was looking at it, I didn't really find any problems finding stocks. Matter of
Hmm.
fact, I found a lot of stocks to the downside. And this is what I was looking at, literally. This is the morning watch list. Look, ADP, Docs, and a lot of these made it on my watch list, like Adobe, Intuit, Humana, Sprout Farmers Market, Uber. Here's my watch list for this morning. Let me show you. So let me show. This is important, actually. So Uber, this was on my watch list. Okay, this was on my watch list. I'm going in order. Okay, this was on my watch list. Workday, Adobe. I'm literally going in order. Intuit. This was on my watch list. Humana's next. Where's Humana? Humana. Did I miss Humana already?
Yeah, we had Uber, Adobe, FIS,
Here,
Workday,
it's
Intuit,
probably on this.
SFM,
Here it
Groupon.
is. There's
Yep.
Humana. This was on my watch list this morning. Okay. Let's continue. SFM. There it is.
Sprouts.
There it is on my
Yep.
watch list. So even though there's less than 100 stocks, there were plenty of that's why I was like, that's kind of weird. Because when you see this short list, you would think there's a lot of them, right? But there's only 64, but they're all very pungent. Like there's some quality here. And then the last one was GRPN. And that's also here somewhere. It has to be because that's the only place I looked. So let's see. I don't even think I went down to the third page. There was just so many on the first two pages that I didn't even have to go that far. But here, let's see if I could find it. Where is that? GRPN. Where are you? Don't hide from me now. Huh, strange. Anyways, it was. I mean, it was on this list. There was no other. There was no other.
Yeah, you know what's interesting, Roger? I didn't
Yeah,
even think that Groupon was alive still.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
yeah. Well, you could see it's like it's going down.
Yep.
That So, um, anyways, back to what I was saying. So when I looked at what I did was I didn't look at the numbers. I didn't look at the number of stocks breaking down. I see why I'm okay. The reason we're not seeing it is because this morning I was looking here. I was looking at the 90-day breakdown, not the 20-day. So you got similar charts, but there was more of them. My point is, when I looked at it this morning, I was very surprised to see that there was only 60 something stocks making 20-day breakdowns. And I'm confirming now. So I wasn't as bullish as a lot of people may think. I was very, very neutral coming into today. I was very surprised that the market did what it did. Okay, so where do we stand right now? Well, the S&P could not break through that level. This is my morning level. I said 696. Be careful. I said watch this level like a hawk, and you could see why I said it. We're now coming back. Am I really bearish right now? Do I think that we're gonna? No, 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 not at all, not at all. This is a very nice base that's building. Right here's your channel that's building right up to all-time highs. We just need a good catalyst to break out. That's all we need here. We need a good catalyst to cause us to break out. But I'm not seeing anything negative. I'm not seeing anything disturbing. I'm not seeing anything horrible. And if the bond market actually comes above the 100-day, it's already above the 200 and the 50. If it comes above the 100, we will be in a much, much better position. Much, much better position. Okay. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to give you guys the stocks that are on my watch list for this afternoon. Okay. And then I'm going to continue where we left off on the Pro Trader dashboard yesterday. All
That's
right.
great. And folks,
Yeah.
I'm going to keep track of the tickers and I'll post them in the chat panel when Roger's done.
Is there any questions so far about anything?
No, excellent, excellent.
Okay. All right. So
And
let's.
also, I just want to remind people here, there's a lot of personal messaging going back and forth, guys, and that's great, but this is not a chat room, okay? So let's keep on focused on what's going here. We're great that the weather is good, you're traveling, all that, but that's not what we're here for. So let's help everybody stay focused on Roger.
All right. So let me do the short watch list, then I'll do the long watch list. Sophie, I like how if you guys remember, I gave you a Netflix trade a few days ago on in the pit. It was a bonus trade when Netflix went up here. So when it goes up to the 8, it likes to come down. Now this is an anticipatory trade because we're assuming we're going to curl down. We haven't done it yet, but I like how it's sitting here and I like how it's rejecting. It has a hammer on the 8-day, which is a pretty below the 200-day moving average, which is a pretty high probability setup to the downside. Okay. CELH. There's your 200-day moving average. We have a clean breakdown here. A clean breakdown, I tell you. And you got pretty good volume too, actually. Now this thing can move. Yeah, it's pretty good. Okay. Amazon is on my short list. Now, Amazon is a perfect example of a stock that tries to rally, fakes out a bunch of weak hands right here, and then starts coming back down to here. If you don't see a V recovery, you should expect something like this. Okay. 60% of this has to be corrected. We haven't seen anything like that. And we're below the 200-day. And right now, consumer stocks, I don't know. Okay. Amazon, not a good stock to have on their short list. Path. Nice daily trend, intraday trend, but this is where we're focused right now. We're focused right here. It's sitting right at the 8-day EMA. It's below the 200-day. It's resisting the 15. I would wait for it to break the 8 first, but that could be a potentially nice setup, especially when you consider this downtrend. Look, long-term trend, short-term trend, short-term trend, short-term trend. Remember last week, the short-term trend revolves in the direction of the long-term trend? Come on, you guys were all here.
That's when you were talking about Apex.
That's exactly right. Look, here's your short long-term trend, right? Here's your short-term trend. Where does it resolve? Here's your short-term trend. Where does it resolve? Here's your short-term trend. Where does it resolve? And here's your short-term trend. Capiche? You got to be able to start. If you can't see what I'm seeing right now. Get rid of those indicators. Dump those indicators. And by the way, right now we're entering a very low. We went from having a crazy volatility here. We went from having crazy volatility to no volatility. It's like a triangle filling in here. We may just die up and just kind of just do this here. Let me show you. We may just do this for the entire day. Here, may just fizzle like this. Big volatility, and then just chop, chop, chop.
Chop, chop.
Yeah. Can't have market don't like that much volatility. So again, I like this for a short-term trend. Short-term trends revolve in the direction of the long-term trend. The lowest risk opportunities are at the apex between the short-term and the long-term trend. Right here, right here, right here, and right there. Okay. Let's continue. Now, nice. Also, same thing. Look how it's rejecting the 8-day. That's I wouldn't. Hey Matt, how's the option liquidity on this now? Maybe do a bear call spread right here. I'll check here. Not great, right? Yeah.
Not serviceable.
It's okay. It's not great. I mean, it's not bad, but it's not great.
It'd be okay if we weren't doing a spread.
Right. Yeah, I know. And again, short-term trend, short-term trend, short-term trend, a long-term trend. The lowest risk opportunities occur. I should just have a session one day, Raleigh, and I should just keep repeating it over and over and over and over again. Look. There's your long-term trend. There's your short-term trend, short-term trend, short-term trend, short-term trend, short-term trend.
Mm-hmm.
Which way does it resolve? What I'm teaching you right now, people will charge you $100,000 for and put a smile on their face. I'm not kidding. Yes, I'm not kidding. Okay. All right. This is like rhythm of market. You should pay attention to this kind of stuff. Okay. Now, Uber, look at that. Pretty likes to move. My wife's best friend is the attorney representing. She's on top of. She's the defense attorney for Uber in this case. So Uber is in a big lawsuit right now over basically what they're accusing Uber of is assaulting or potentially rape. I don't know any of this to be factual. Raping women, the drivers being inappropriate behavior by drivers of Uber over the last year. It's like they're trying to make a class action, and it's been going down. So the truth is, how do you supervise those guys? Right? They're independent contractors. They're kind of on their own. Okay. Look at these high volume candles. Each volume is getting higher as we're moving lower. Team. See, there's no shortage of nice shorts. That's why I was so surprised that there was only like 60 something stocks breaking down. Adobe. It's very nice. Very, 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 very nice. Okay. Affirm. Look at this. Since October, it's been trading almost entirely below the 50-day moving average. It's now finally breaking down below this level. Choppy stock, but, nonetheless. GTLB, this is a nice look. I like the look of this stock. Here's your sideways, a little bit up against you, sideways. The best short-term trends are the ones that don't even go against the long-term trend. They just go sideways like this. Here's one that goes against it. Here's one that they usually go against you a little bit like this, and then they resolve back. But here you could see that. Okay. DocuSign. Notice rejecting the 8-day short-term trend right here. Are we going to resolve back to the long-term trend like we did right here, like we did right here? I don't know. I don't know. But look at the long-term trend. That's a steep long-term trend. And usually things revolve in the direction of the long-term trend. Okay. I know some of you must be bored of me repeating the same thing over and over and over again. But I'm going to do it till it's instilled in your brain.
Yep.
Forever. Here's a short-term. Here's a downtrend right here. And you could see, look, short-term trend, short-term trend, short-term trend, short-term trend. This is just downtrend right here, right? Short-term downtrend, whatever. But it looks good. All right, let's look at the longs. Picard. I like Picard. What is Picard doing? It's resolving the short-term trend. This is the long-term trend, right? It's starting to potentially move back up here. When it goes up here. When it goes up here, it'll be an A line, but right now it's on my watch list. Guild. It's a nice rejection off the 8-day. I think it had earnings. Yeah, it had earnings today. Nice rejection off the 8-day. Nice look. Nice look. And I like this one too, BMY. I like this one as well. All right. Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola's rejecting the 15, already trading back above the 8-day. This is really good. This is really good. Matt, are you short?
Yep. Not for long though.
Yeah, okay.
Right at our stop.
Okay. Oh. Halliburton. Another one. Nice bullish trend right here. Look at it. Every time it comes down to the 15, what does it do? It rejects it and goes back up. Okay. Visual back testing. Here's Philip Morris. Procter Gamble, excuse me. Philip Morris is also on our list, but we're not there yet. We're above the 200 and we're confirming it. It's a pretty strong trend right here. Strong trend. Top. Not bad. Bad. Holding on. I'm not a huge fan of energy stocks because they're very much related to energies, but I mean they're dependent on energies, not the S&P 500, but still. ADM. This was a stock I gave you yesterday. I showed you this stock yesterday. I really like this stock a lot. That's an A line right here. Yeah, it's a nice A line right here. Matt, make a note of this, okay? ADM. Not AMD, ADM. I confuse them all the time. KNX. Nice clean trend right at the 8-day EMA. I'm not picking a lot of breakouts right now because markets are so damn choppy. Mm-hmm. Seadrill. Nice pullback off the 8-day. High volume bar. All-time high. Nope, not all-time high, but a year high. Yeah, a year high above this area on good volume. That's nice. It's attractive. Makes it attractive. Okay. Those are the stocks that I have for you guys on my list. Now, I wanted to talk again about the Pro Trader dashboard. And for those that can't, here, let me pull it up here so that you guys can see it. There we are. There's my Pro Trader dashboard. So let's pull up Guild. Why don't we? Okay. So you could see my Pro Trader dashboard. It's right here. It's on my chart. You could see exactly what I'm doing and how I'm using it and so forth and so forth. And you could see here, these are the profit targets. They show up as soon as the arrows show up. When the arrows show up, the profit targets and the stop. I don't have a stop. For some reason, I don't have my stop loss here. I'll have Matt put it back up. But I usually rely on the charts. I don't rely on these too much. I have an eye for this. I've been doing this for a long time. Here is relative strength right here. Actually, you know what? Hold on. Let me see if I could pull up. Pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up. Yeah, right here. One second. Here. There's my Pro Trader Dash. So here you could see this is the momentum oscillator. This is sectors. So this is really interesting. I want to talk a little bit about this. The colored line is the sector. Green is the sector. So we're looking at AEE right now. This is from yesterday. Remember AEE?
Yep.
I haven't even changed this chart from yesterday. So what this is telling me is, here, let me make it bigger so you guys can see it. This is the sector, okay? This is the S&P 500. This is the stock, okay? The thick line is the stock. So let me give you a good example. Guild. So Guild is in the healthcare sector right now, right? It's starting to weaken a little bit. And what this is telling us is that the sector is actually outperforming the market. The broad market is outperforming the sector, and the sector is outperforming the stock. So let me explain this to you. Let's say you're looking at a daily chart of Guild right now, okay? And you really, really like how it looks right now. And then you say, okay, well, let's take a deeper look. How is it looking on the Pro Trader dashboard? Well, this is relative strength. You could see that the green is turning red. That's a huge red flag. You can also see that relative volume isn't highlighted here. That's a second red flag. Okay? When you look here, you want to see, if you're going to go long, you want this, the thick colored line.
Oops. Looks like Roger may have frozen.
I'm frozen? Am I frozen, Matt?
Yeah, you're back now.
Oh, huh.
He just had a momentary lapse.
That's weird. Huh, that's strange. Okay. I didn't, usually I see myself freezing, but anyways, all right. All right. Yeah, I think, Raleigh, I think you froze.
Oh, I was moving.
Oh, okay.
Anyway,
I was moving
we're
too.
all back together. And
Yeah. We're all good. Yeah,
maybe
we're
it
all
was
good.
my feed. Okay.
Yeah,
good.
it's all good. We're all back. So look. So you see, if you're going long, you want this thick colored line to be on top. And then you want the sector that you're in to be the second one, like it is here. And then the market you want to be below. And that would tell us that the stock is leading the sector that it's in, and the sector is leading the market. You don't have that here. You have market, sector, stock. This is what you would want it to look like this for a short, not a long. And relative weakness, stock is relatively weak. The only thing it's got good going for it is the daily chart, and the current momentum is still green, although it's right now turning yellow. So what this is telling us is that the stock is actually losing strength. It's getting weaker to the market because it's below the market, and momentum levels are dying off. Look, this is yellow. It's not blue anymore. Here, you can see it right here. Okay. See that?
Yep.
Yellow. So let's take a look at a couple of others. Let's look at Coca-Cola, okay?
By the way, Roger, just on this point, I'm reading everybody's mind here. They're going like, well, is this a good short opportunity?
No, not at all. Remember, we're looking at stocks on our long list. So we're looking to see whether the stock is a good long.
Point.
Not whether we should be taking shorts. We look for stocks on our short list to determine if we should be looking at shorts. Low IQ Johnny, I'm only looking at my watch list right now, but I'll see what else is moving. So let's take a look at this one. Okay, so This is in the consumer staples sector. Blue is consumer staples. So let's take a close look here. The sector is leading ahead of the stock. The stock is lagging behind the index. No, no, no. This is all wrong. No, we want the sector to be behind the stock, not ahead of the stock. We don't want, if there are other stocks stronger than this stock, then I should be looking at those stocks, right? Okay. Yeah. Let's continue. So let's just do a social experiment. Let me look at the stock that's the strongest stock in the market right now. This one right here, okay? Okay. PHM. Here's my Pro Trader dashboard. You see PHM? Okay. The stock has relative strength. Now, when we're looking here, look at where the stock is compared to the market and the sector that it's in. That's what you want to see. See how the stock is it's leaving the sector that it's in and the market in the dust? Now, I would prefer to see the sector here, but that's not necessary. It's just telling us that the stock is way stronger than the sector that it's in and the market. And look, momentum levels are starting to go up. Do you guys see that? And it's looking good on a daily chart as well. And it's got relative strength. What did the stock not have? Can somebody tell me, what does the stock not have? There's something missing from this stock. The green arrow is right here. Volume. Thank you, Sean. Sean, you redeemed yourself from telling us not to buy AEE yesterday. You redeemed yourself, Sean. It has no volume. Volume is only 36%. Yeah, Abe, Sally, yeah, you guys all, you're right. Volume. Doesn't have volume. Oh, it's getting a little on a 15-minute basis, but still, it's only 36. I mean, it's not being, this is not enough to sustain ourselves, okay? This is the Pro Trader dashboard. Let's continue. Let's look at another stock, okay? Let's look at, remember we were looking at Coca-Cola and it was weaker than the sector? Well, let's take a look at Procter & Gamble. Maybe that looks different. So here's Procter & Gamble. Not a lot of volume. Beautiful daily chart. Beautiful daily chart. It's not really stronger than the market. But let's look and see what's going on here. The sector is stronger than the stock. You never, ever, 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 folks, listen to me. You never, ever, 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 ever want to buy a stock that has a sector that's stronger than this actual stock. Because then you got to ask yourself, well, why don't I just find the strongest stock in the sector? What am I putzing around with you for, right? Because remember, this is the stock and this is the sector. We want the stock to be here, not here. Now, granted, the sector and the stock are stronger than the S&P 500. That's nice. We like that. But I want the stock to be here, not the sector. Now, Oladipo asked a really good question. What volume percentage do you consider good? Okay. You don't even know what you're getting yourself into by asking that question, Oladipo. You got yourself into a very tricky situation just now. Here's the answer to your question. We don't have an answer. He's asking what volume is good. It depends on the actual volume of the stock going back for 20 bars. So let me explain to you. We're looking at 5-minute bars on Philip Morris. Here's how I know if volume is good, Oladipo. I want to go back to the bar of 1235 to 1240. This is the current bar. I want to see the volume on this bar over the last 20 trading sessions at 1235 to 1240. That's the bar in question. I need to do forensic accounting going back to this bar 20 days back at this time. So I need to look back at yesterday, the day before, Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. Then I will need to go back another 2 weeks, and I need to go back to that bar, to the 1240 bar, to this bar right here. And then I can determine, hey, Beatrice, you're in the wrong. If you're looking, this is not the Trading Zone Live channel. This is the VIP room channel. If you're looking for the Trading Zone channel, please go to the Telegram channel. Okay, thank you. Okay, so let me continue my explanation. So if you want to know if this bar has high volume or not, then I need you to go back to the 1240 bar, the 5-minute bar, going back every day for the last 20 trading sessions. Then what I need you to do, who was the person that asked me this question? It was Oladipo. And then I need you, Oladipo, to take an average volume of all those 20 bars to see if the bar that you're seeing right now has higher volume than the bar at this time going back 20 days. Now, let me ask you an interesting question. If you were to do this manually, how long would it take you right now to go back 20 days and look at the 1235 to the 1240 bar to tell me if volume is higher than average of those 20 days at 1235 or not? Richie says, oy vey. Well, I got great news for you. You don't have to do it manually. If this turns up green, that means this bar is higher than the last 20 bars at 12:35 in the afternoon that occurred over 20 days. Now, you're probably saying to yourself, okay, Roger, don't be a smartass. We get it. Nobody's going to go 20 days. No, Oladipo. I want you to go back 20 days at exactly this time of the day and check the volume every day and tell me if this bar the volume was 0.49987, if it was higher. Okay? If this bar doesn't turn green, then that means it's not. That, my friend, is how I look at volume. So to answer to your question, it would take you a whole day to do that. Yes, it would take you a whole day to do that. But if you have the Pro Trader dashboard, you don't have to do it because it does it for you automatically. On a 5-minute basis, my friend, on a 15-minute basis, on a 30-minute basis, on an hourly basis, and on a daily basis, in real time. In real time. Wouldn't you love to have a tool that does that for you, where you can go back to any bar you're looking at for any of these time frames and know that this thing automatically has your back by going back 20 days at the exact same day as time? Because you see, the reason for that is, and some of you may be saying, well, Roger, that may be a little too much. Why do you need to go back 20 days? Because I want to make sure that volume at the same day, at the same time, was the same as it is right now. Because if you try to look at volume at 9:30 in the morning or at 3 o'clock in the morning, in the afternoon, it's going to be completely different.
Well, and Roger, I think also just for perspective, you had also looked at a stock and you had looked at the percentage of average daily volume. And you said, oh, the volume's too low, which is another volume indicator you look at. You said it was at 36%. So here we are halfway through the trading day, but volume's only 36% of
Yes,
normal.
but
Yeah.
this is going to look at the percentage of your average daily volume.
Right, exactly.
This is surgical precision right here. This is relative volume. This is telling us that volume is being accumulated right now. Like, for example, oh, and by the way, right now, Procter & Gamble is outperforming its sector, and it is outperforming the broad market. And there's your bar right there, right? But we don't have volume, so no soup. But let me show you something different. Let me show you BWA. Okay. Look at the daily range on this thing today. So these are all high volume bars, right? Look at volume. Look at the 30-minute volume. Look at the 5-minute volume. Look at the percentage of daily volume. 335%. So to answer your question, Oladipo, you've got nothing to worry about. You don't have to do forensic accounting. You just have to buy this. Here's your 30 and here's your 5. This is being accumulated right now. Look at where the stock is compared to the index and the sector that it's in. And look at how green this is. Institutions are buying. And Richie says, I'm looking at this all day, guys. That's right. And so am I. 335%. Look at this is highlighted. So see, we know that this price action right now has higher volume than the last 20 trading days at exactly 1245 to the 1250 bar using 5-minute candles. Do you guys understand the level of precision that I've put into this?
It's amazing.
And that's why, my friends, our win rate is over 94% in the pit, because we use this tool to generate those trades and generate these levels. Now,
and I also like, Roger, we're up there for a minute here. I love the fact that you're also telling us at a glance how it's performing over multiple time frames.
Yes. And administrator, just asked Richie the question that I just spent 20 minutes answering. He's asking Richie, what do you look for volume? I'm going to pretend I'm Richie right now, administrator. He looks for this to be green. He looks for this to be green, and he looks for this to be above the average of where we're at in the day. Sorry, I didn't mean to answer for you, Richie, but I figured since you don't have a mic, I'll answer the question for you. Okay. So he looks for this to light up. That's what he looks for. Same thing that I look for this to light up. So right now, what percentage of the day did we just overcome? 50%? We would probably want this to be at least 60 or 70 or 80. Obviously, 336 is very nice. Let me show you some other stocks that are being accumulated right now. Hilton. Hilton is being accumulated right now. Now, you're probably thinking, well, Roger, how do you know that these stocks are being accumulated right now? Well, you see the ProTrader dashboard has a scanner, and you see the relative volume. I added it here too. So when it lights up here, it also lights up here. So not only do I have relative strength, but I also have relative volume. So I could see, while I'm looking at relative strength, which of these babies have volume pumping into them right now. Now, this is an interesting one. It's still in range. It still hasn't broken out. We still don't have arrows on it yet, which means this stock is being accumulated, but it hasn't broken out yet. Look at momentum. It just turned blue. Look at the stock versus the index versus the sector. Exactly what we want to see. Look at volume coming into it on a 30-minute, 15-minute, and a 5-minute basis. Look at how much of the average volume we have seen today. 75%. The day's not 75% done. Matt, we're building a base to go higher right now. Are you still short?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't know. And look at the daily chart. Everything lines up, except we don't have an arrow yet, which means if we get an arrow on this thing, tring, but look at volume. Look at relative strength on a daily, hourly, 30-minute, and 5-minute. I usually just look at daily and 5-minute, but in the end of the day, I start looking at hourly. Yes, exactly. Yes. So what he looks for, so to answer, I'll pretend I'm Richie right now. He looks for this to light up in green, and for this to be above where we are in the day. Exactly the same thing that I've been telling you for the last 20 minutes. So when you combine this is longs, this is short. So right now, Micron, STM, and SQM are the strongest stocks, according to this. Do you want to take a quick look at them? Let's see. SQM. Oh, yeah, baby. Look at that. Look at that. It got the arrow right here. and it's at the second profit target right now. On a daily, it's bouncing off the 50, got good relative strength, and look at the stock compared to the index. And look, all green. That's a strong stock right now. Volume, only 60%, doesn't have a lot of volume. See, none of the stocks moving right now have volume. The volume is right here. Oh, not it. No volume. No volume. So basically, I look at this all day long, and so does Richie. And I'm working on right now, I'm working on a methodology to make it a lot faster. And we just added the high volume candles. So you can also, if you're not looking at this, you can also be looking at this right here. That's a high volume candle to the upside, and that's a high volume candle to the upside. The white candles are upside high volume candles, and these are downside high volume candles. So if you see orange, that's down. If you see white, that's up. Let's see another one. Let's look at Micron. See one high volume candle up, and then takes it down, and then you get the red, and then you get the targets to the downside. All right. All right. So now I showed you how I find stocks using the Pro Trader dashboard, but I also wanted to show you how I time them to enter trades. So one of the tools that I look at, let me show you. I hope my cold is not interfering with my voice too much, and that you guys could still understand what I'm saying and all that stuff.
Yes, and we all have antivirus software.
Okay, cool. All right, so there you are. Okay. Let me just check something here real quick. Yeah, still holding up here. Okay. All right, so. Oh, that's nice, Richie. Okay. So let's go back to let's just find a couple of fast-moving stocks right now. I want to show you something. Okay. So let's say that, let's just say for shits and giggles that I'm looking at, let's see a stock that I really like right now. How about Taiwan Semiconductor, okay? Okay. What you're seeing right here is the Hakanachi clouds, okay? Not clouds, Hakanachi candles, okay? And if you have a stock that's on your watch list and it's a very high momentum stock, what you want to do is you want to wait for these candles to give you a confirmation before you enter a trade, okay? So let's just hypothetically say that we like this stock and we like it after it goes above the VWAP, okay? Well, so the stock goes above the VWAP here. How do we know it's a good trade? You see these green flat bottom candles? When the candles turn flat bottom, that means you have some momentum, directional momentum, okay? And you could stay in this trade till the candles turn red again, like they did right here, okay? So it's basically what this does is it keeps you in a trade. And what this does is each of these days actually represents a bar and a half or 2 bars up here. So you can't rely on this for price. You just have to rely on it for a trend. So in other words, you use this for your price, your actual price levels where you enter and exit, but you use these to determine how long you should stay in the trade. So let's say that I'm long from right here. Here's a flat bottom candle. Let's say I went long here. I would still be long here, even though this is printing a red candle. I would still be long right here because this is still green. I would wait for this to turn red to get out of a trade. And you will find that this keeps you in trades a little longer. Now, if you're winning, that's obviously good. If you're losing, that's obviously bad, which is why I like to use these in conjunction with these. Now, I like to use 5 minutes. What Richie likes to use is he likes to use the 2 minute. He uses these mostly with the S&P 500, but these are become very, very sensitive, very, very sensitive. So I would use 2 minute I would use 2 minute HA candles if you are trying to scalp or day trade, or if you're day trading the SPY. But if you're swing trading stocks, or if you're just regularly positioned day trading stocks, I prefer to use the 5 minute. Now, the next question you should be asking me is, Roger, well, why do you use them if they have a little bit of a delay? Isn't the whole point not to have a delay? And that's a good point. So I'm going to tell you guys something very interesting that I found out. Some indicators that get you to enter and exit trades, like tell you when to enter and exit, you don't want to have any delay on those. But I actually found that having a little bit of a delay, like moving averages have when you're in a trade, is not a bad thing, because what happens is sometimes these indicators are so fast, they'll trigger you out of a trade too fast. Whereas continuation trades actually keep you in a trade longer. I'm about to say something important. That means you need to write this down. I'm actually experimenting with a weighted moving average, which weighs price very similar to how these candlesticks weigh price. And I'm finding that these weighted averages, they don't move every time the wind blows at them. They actually stay pretty consistent. I'm finding that they actually keep me in a trade a lot longer. So I don't think I would use the HA candles. So here's what I would use these for. They're really good in telling us when there's a shift in the trend, and they're great for keeping us in a trade when we think about getting out of it. Okay? So the way Richie uses it would be here, 2 minute. He would use this right here in conjunction with the SPY. I'm actually showing you exactly how he's using them right now, if you want to. So you see right here, you got a flat bottom right here. And so let's say this is your support. Support becomes resistance. Resistance becomes support right here. Flat bottom candle. He would be going long here, and he would be getting out when the candle turns red. Okay? And Richie, please feel free to chime in if you'd like to. Yeah, for futures, exactly. Yeah, and which is, so you see how it's green, 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 except right here. So he would if it turns red and goes like this, that's okay unless it's a flat up candle. So again, I'm just showing you different ways you could use in conjunction with the bars. And what I'd like to see you guys do is have HA candles right near your ProTrader dashboard. So after you're in a trade, so when you're in a trade like this, for example, in Micron, which would have already taken you to take profits right here. But here, let me find another one. How about UHS? How about UHS? All right, here's UHS, okay? So this told you to go long right here, okay? We went long at, let's just practice here. We went long at 10:25 in the morning, okay? So where do you exit this trade? Let's see. UHS. Okay. So let's go on a 5-minute time frame. So let me show you something. 10, what was the 10, I have it right here. 10:25, okay? 10:25, after 10 a.m. So look, 10:25. Let's go to 10:25. Okay, beautiful. 10:25. We got a flat bottom green candle, and I this is the first time I'm doing this. You got a flat bottom candle at 10:25 right here, okay? So that means green, 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 green. You're staying here. You're staying long. You're waiting for a flat topped red candle. Roger, right here. Nope, it's not a flat top. It's got a wick on top of it. And so does this. That means you stay long. If you want, you could take partial off right here. And then you stay long, you stay long, you stay long. Do you see a flat topped red candle? I don't, which means you could still stay long in this stock. Okay. So I just showed you, you can use HA candles from any free or paying platform. Okay, Carla? They are free on Thinkorswim, on TC2000, on TradingView, on Bar Chart, on any platform in the world. They're completely free. Matt, can you hook me up?
Mm-hmm.
Thanks. And yeah, you could use this for swing trading. You could, but I'm not big. I've never saw the value of using these on a daily basis. To me, it's too much. It's just too much. Basically, thank you, sir. I use the 8-day EMA for swing trading, and to see if price is above there, I prefer for intraday. When you have a shift in a trend, oh, another thing, they only work well when you have a very fast moving asset. Richie says you combine this strategy with Rogers levels and get ready to pay Mr. IRS. I like that. So as I just explained, these are your regular candles. These are your HA candles. HA candles are not actual candles. It's a moving average system designed in Japan a long, long time ago. It actually takes two candles together to come up with one. So it's got a good lag. But this lag is used to your advantage because, again, a lot of times when you're already in a trade, it's very easy. Let me tell you something, guys. It's really easy to get you out of a trade. You don't have enough conviction yet to stay in a trade. So it's very easy to get you out of a trade. So this kind of gives you secondary confirmation. Okay. And again, I use this in conjunction with the Pro Trader dashboard. But here's the thing. You still need the dashboard to show you pretty stocks. You still need to have that watch list. You still need to have the arrows. Remember, excuse me. How did I find this stock UHS just now? Okay. I first went to my scanner. I found UHS. Keeps bouncing around. It's moving around. You could see it. It's right here. I found the stock, right? I saw that it had volume coming in. I pulled up the Pro Trader dashboard. I saw the arrow. I made sure everything was kosher. I looked at the time of the arrow. And then, only then, I went to the HAs. Remember, I looked up the time here and I said first flat bottom candle. It happened exactly at 12:30. And I said it was perfect. So I wouldn't be able to find this without the Pro Trader dashboard. That's the point the paramount point that I want to make here. And again, I hope you folks took advantage of this opportunity, and I hope you guys had a chance to learn something new. I'll have another session on HA candles over the next few days, okay? I'll have another session for you guys because I think a lot of folks like them. They really work well as guardrails for a lot of folks.
Right.
Lastly, thanks Laura for reminding me. Your entry using these candles would be a big ass flat bottom candle, a big flat bottom candle, and if it's a small baby flat candle, then you wait for a second confirmation. So if you have a small baby candle, you wait for a second confirmation. If you have a big candle like this, you take it. So if all candles look like this and your first green candle looks like this, you take it. But if it's a baby flat bottom candle, you wait for a second confirmation. And same thing here. I need a red one just to show you an example. So I'll just use the daily. Same thing here. You see how that's a big ass candle. That's the kind of candle you want to start your down trajectory. If you have a candle like this, wait for 2 candles for confirmation. Okay? All right. Now, I'm going to teach you a class. I'm going to show you a class. And this is the last day I'm doing this class. And today's the last day to get in on the Pro Trader dashboard. Is there any questions, Raleigh, before we begin?
Yeah, there were several questions here, but you know what, Roger? We are short on time here, and you're going to address many of them in the session here. But generally, people were blown away by this. As a matter of fact, several people said this is more like a master class than a VIP session. So I've just shared with people where you can go ahead and see the replay here on your Telegram channel. And for those of you that are basically really scrutinizing Roger's Pro Trader dashboard, and some people are going, hey, mine doesn't quite look like that or whatnot. We do really recommend that you go to Customer Service Live, and Cam and Gustavo can help you with any adjustments that might be necessary in that regard. And typically, by the way, folks, when Matt and Roger do an upgrade, okay, they will send you an email and let you know that there's an upgrade waiting for you in your members area in that regard. So we've got that. The other thing is this, Roger, for the folks that are on YouTube, they need to come over to the Zoom room now because we're going to be shutting down that feed because we're not allowed by YouTube to do any kind of promotions there, and we're going to be continuing on Zoom. For those of you that are here already, you're already in the chat panel, you don't need to do anything. You're in the right place at the right time. And Roger's just basically going to continue everything that he's been talking about in much more detail and continue to show you